Okay, so for finding the total pay in which the sales are $940, we have to take the base salary, which in this case is how much she's earning per week. So the pay per week. And I only want you to write this, like the words out for your notes, and then when you're doing your practice, you're going to be able to look back at this. So I want you to write down exactly what I'm writing down, because you're going to need to look back and use this, okay? So it's the pay per week plus the commission. The pay per week plus the commission. Okay, now remember, we defined the commission as the percent times the sales. And then the pay per week, can anybody tell me how much she's getting paid for the week? Yep, $350, great. So we're going to plug in $350. Okay, now for the percent, we talked about how when you have a percent, you have to write that as a decimal. Okay, so if you're writing 12% as a decimal, good. So that's what we're going to plug in. So 0.12 or 0.12 times the sales. So it says in which her sales are $940. So that's what we're going to plug in. And I'm going to help you plug this in on your calculator if you need it. If you are feeling good, you can do this ahead of me. Okay, so if you want to plug this all in at the same time, you can do 350 plus 0.12. And you can use parentheses just like I did here, or you can use the times key. Okay, and then will you press enter and write down what you get? Because we're going to talk about that. Okay, so, Haven, what'd you get for that? Yeah, 462.8. Now, I told you today we're going to be dealing with a lot of money. The financial is money, because money is a part of our lives. And whenever you are dealing with money, can anybody tell me how many decimal places you have to round to? Yes, good. Okay, so we're just going to write a little note. Okay, so we're going to round to 2 decimal places when dealing with money. So you're going to do that no matter what. If the directions tell you what to round to, they will tell you to round to the nearest hundredth. If you need that reminder, you can put that there. Okay, but if they don't tell you, it's money. So when you get an answer like we did here, this is only one decimal place. Do you guys know how to write 0.8 in terms of money? So not percent, but in terms of money. Not if it's the point. No? Point how much? Are you saying 8 or something else? No? I wasn't sure if you said 8 or... So remember the other day we did 40%, right? And 40% as a decimal is written as what? Okay, so 0.4, right? So 0.4 is 40. So what is 0.8? 80. So yeah, so for here, you just have to put a 0 on it. Okay. Okay, put this on there. Okay. Yep, so you can always add a 0 at the end if it doesn't give you what that is. So 0.8 is 80, 0.08 is 8 cents. Okay? All right. And then if they didn't give it to you, I was asking my first hour if they had a receipt. And I had a receipt, so I was returning dresses and some sweatpants. But look, see how whenever you have money, it's always 0, 0? See how it's 0.00? Yeah. So that's why you're adding that on there. Okay? No matter what, you guys buy things, you get receipts, right? We're going to talk about something else with receipts in a second. Oh, that's it, right. A lot of places do give you the option now. Like they'll be like, do you want it emailed or printed? Or like at restaurants they'll ask you. Okay, now for number 2, let's box in the important information again. So a sales representative earns a 2.5% commission on sales. So anytime they give you this percent here, remember that you're going to be turning the percent into a what? Decimal. Can you guys not say it out loud, but just write it on top? The percent as a decimal. Good. I notice people using their percent key on their calculator. That's a good strategy. Okay? Okay, and then when it says find the commission, remember, so when it says find the commission, that means you are finding the percent times the sales. So this isn't going to ask you for the total pay, it's just asking you for the commission. Okay, and then what is the other thing I should box in here? Yep, the total sales are 80,700. Okay, and then when we write this out, is it okay if I just abbreviate as com instead of commission? Okay. So I want you to write the percent that you wrote as a decimal times the sales, and I want you to put it right in there. Okay? Yeah. Yep. So 2 is very similar to 1, so I want you to put it in there and solve it. And then okay, good. The 0.025. And then what were the sales? What did you multiply it by? Yeah, good. And then I guess I gave myself too much room there. And then what did you get when you calculated that? Why? Okay, can we do that? Okay. I know, so read it to me. What is it? Okay, you need to check and make sure you put that in again. Zaira, what'd you get for your number? Yeah? So 20. Good. Now, the 0.5 is just like what we had here. So this is what you guys all got? Yeah, did some of you already change it to the 50? Nice job if you did. Okay? So anytime it just has that, you're going to put the 0 in there. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply to find some percents. And with these, we are going to have to do some rounding. So right here, we're just going to write our rounding rules when you're rounding to 2 decimal places. Yep, when you're rounding to 2 decimal places, okay? When you're rounding to 2 decimal places, do you guys know what number you look at? Like if you have 5.156. Yeah, I guess you do look at all of them, right? You're always going to look at the third place. So when you're rounding to 2 decimal places, look at the third place. That tells you whether you're rounding the 5 up or keeping it the same. So if this number in the third place, if it's 5 or above, you round it up. If it's 4 or below, you keep it the same. So if you had 5.156 and you were to round it, 6 falls into this category. So if you rounded, it would be 5.16. Yep, good. Now sometimes there are going to be some that are a little trickier, so we'll work through those together. So if you're finding a 15% tip on a check for $21.98, again, what you're going to do is you're going to write that as a decimal. And anytime you're finding the percent on a check, you are going to multiply. And you're going to multiply it by the money. Okay? So you're going to write 15% as a decimal. You're going to put in the money. And then we're going to round that together. Okay, so I want you to write 15% as a decimal, put in the money, multiply, and just write out, again, the 3 decimal places, and we'll round together. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay. And then really for B, you're going to be doing something very similar. Yep, so if it's a 15% tip, how do we write 15% as a decimal? Yeah. And then all we have to do is take the total and multiply that together. So write it out to 3 decimal places, and then I'll help you round. Yeah, that's what I want you to write down. Yep. So you should get something with 3 decimal places. So will you guys write that down for me? And then, Landon, will you tell me what you got? Nice. Okay, so we're going to use this rule. Look at the third place. Okay, so if I'm going to the third place, I'm looking at this 7. Okay, I want to round this place, but it's based on 7. Okay, so is the 7 going to round this up or keep it the same? Round it up. Now, well, yeah, so the nines are tricky, right? Because, yeah, the 9 rounds up to 10. So what you can do is look at this number as a whole. See how this is 29? 30. Yeah, there's just one more. Good. So your final answer is $3.30. Okay, and then can you guys do B for me? Okay, and then can you guys try B? Just number 3, A and B. Yep, just find the tip, and then I'll actually show you another way you can do it. if you're lazy like me and don't want to pull your phone out, even though I don't think you guys have that problem. All right, so how are we feeling about part B? We feeling good? Or a little nervous about whether we got it right? Okay, so 20% as a decimal is, yeah, 0.2 or 0.20. Doesn't, both of them are great, okay? Now, it's the same check number, so that's going to be the same. Okay, and then Ken, you want to tell me what you got for your decimal for this one? 4.396. Great. So, did you guys notice this one was really similar to that one? Yeah. So, what did we round up to? Yes. So again, if this rounds up, okay, 39 becomes 40. So $4.40, okay? And then what I was going to show you is, like, for if it's 20%, I'll do 20% because I can just multiply by 2 and I just round it up. So 21.98 is really close to what? $22, right? And then in our head we could do 22 times 2, because what's 22 plus 22? 44, yeah. Yep, so just times 2. And then, so obviously I'm not going to leave a $44 tip on this. I just put my decimal in there. So it'll be $4.40. All right, now, do we like to buy shoes? Okay, so when you go to buy anything, right, if the price tag was $68, is that what you would pay? No. It's always like a little more, and it seems to be random change, right? Yes, because of tax, okay? So with certain states, they have different rates of tax. Do you guys know what Michigan's is? It's not 7. It's 6, yep. And then I lived in Florida for a little bit, and it was 7% in there. And sometimes they would even have, like, no tax weekends. So when you're trying to find the tax, okay, the tax is going to have a rate. So see how it says 7% tax rate? The tax is calculated by the rate times the price of whatever you're buying. So we're going to say the price of the item. So you can use this equation for any time you're trying to calculate the tax, okay? Now, just like we've been doing before, the rate has to be written as a what? As a decimal, yep. So 7% as a decimal would be, great, 0.07. And then we're buying shoes. How much do those cost? Not these. $68. So let's calculate. Now keep in mind, again, this is money. So anytime you are dealing with money, you're going to round to what decimal place? The hundreds, yep. Now this one turned out pretty nice, right? When you multiplied, was, yeah, 4.76, so it already did that for you, so that's nice. Now, sometimes they're going to ask you for the tax. Other times they're going to ask you for the total cost. So if they ask you for the total, that's going to be the price of the item. And what else do I have to add to that? Not for the tax rate. Yeah, just your tax, right? So you always pay the price of the item plus the tax on that item. And that really is like it is the state's commission, right? And then, yep, so we're just gonna plug those in there. So the shoes that we bought were $68. We calculated the tax. What was the tax? Yeah. So we're just going to add those together, and then we're going to write it in terms of dollars. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to give you the Practice B worksheet. And we're going to do part of it today, and we're going to do part of it tomorrow. And when you get it, I would circle these so you don't try to do number 4 and then you get really confused because we haven't talked about that yet. Okay, so you just have to do 1, 2, and 3, and then 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to have you start 1 on your own, but then we're going to do some group work, okay?